YouTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to The Bookish Knitter. Today I'm coming to you with a weekly reading update. So I have been doing my daily little 2 or 3 minute long vlogs, and I thought I would sit down today on Sunday and share with you everything I read and kind of give you my full reviews. So it's all kind of condensed into one video. I will leave timestamps below if you want to jump ahead to any specific review, but I had a great reading week, you guys. I read 4 books, and I'm going to film a video right after this where I'm going to talk about, I think, why that is and why I've kind of fallen back in love with reading again. But anyway, I will get to that. So the first book that I finished this week was Murder, She Barked by Krista Davis, and I gave that one 4 stars. I wasn't completely sure on it at first. It's the first book in the Paws and Claws series, and you get introduced to a lot of characters and their dogs. This takes place in the small town of Wagtail, Virginia, and it is about a girl. It's this very standard cozy mystery trope where this girl comes back to the town that she spent her summers at, and to help her grandmother with the inn or the bread and breakfast that the grandmother owns. And of course there's a murder that happens and Holly helps solve it. Holly is our female lead. Twinkle is her dog's name. It's a Jack Russell Terrier that I think it's a Jack Russell, that she she rescues. And then there's Twinkle Toes the cat, and there's a whole other bunch of cast of characters. The grandmother is a hoot. I really like this one. Of course, Holly, a lot of these people show up in these towns and they're like already had the breakup with their ex. In this one, Holly is actually still engaged, or not engaged, but still dating this guy. And then they end up, I don't want to spoil it, obviously they end up splitting up at some point. And there are what seems to be maybe a couple love interests. I forgot to bring my drink down, sorry. And I'm not sure if there's going to be a love triangle or not. I will keep you guys updated as I continue on with the series. And in that other video I'm going to do next, I'm going to talk more about what I'm reading and how I'm reading, which might be of interest to some of you as well, so you kind of understand what I'm doing here. The second book that I finished was The Ghost at Dawn's House by Anna Martin, the 9th book in the Babysitter's Club series. Pretty standard book. Dawn finds the secret passage in her house. She thinks it's haunted. It was really cute. 3.5 star read. I liked it. And then I went on to read my 2 5-star reads of the week. 2, guys. I never give 5-star reviews, and I gave 2 back to back. So the first one was For the 12 Slaves of Christmas by Jacqueline Frost, or aka Julianne Lindsay. And this takes place in the small town of Mistletoe, Maine. It's the first book in the Christmas Tree Farm series. And our main character's name, again, is Holly. And guess what? Her ex's name is Ben. And Holly from our first book, the Paws and Claws book, her ex's, or soon-to-be ex's, name was also Ben. So if your name is Holly and you're dating a guy named Ben, you might want to rethink that. Just kidding. But if you are Holly and you're dating a Ben, let me know how it's going, because I feel like the Hollys and Bens this week have gotten a pretty bad rap. So anyway, same thing. She's after, actually her wedding was called off. She was supposed to get married just right before Christmas. She shows up back in town on Christmas, and the whole town it's called Mistletoe, Maine, so it's geared towards the Christmas season. Her parents own and run a Christmas tree farm, which is just delightful, and they run the 12 Years of Reindeer games where they do all these different events for the 12 days leading up to Christmas. A murder happens on the first day, and Holly's determined to find the killer, and there's obviously going to be a relationship with the deputy, because that's how Julianne Lindsay writes. Like, that's what went on in the Brie Baker series, the other one that she wrote under a pseudonym. So yeah, really fun, really cute, very, very, very Christmassy. What I love about Julianne Lindsay is that, Jacqueline Frost, is that she writes such amazing secondary characters. Like, Holly's parents were just a delight. I loved her dad. The one I find in cozy mysteries, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of you who have read a lot more than I have, we typically don't see the parents, more specifically the father of our characters, as often in these series. Like, oftentimes something happened to the parents, or they're raised by grandparents, or something of that nature. The parents are absent, but in this case, Holly's parents were very much present, and her dad just sounded like the most delightful, big bear lumberjack of a man. And then there's Cookie, who is one of the sidekicks, and I adore her. I really, really love this one. It hit every button that I wanted, and 5 stars. Absolutely 5 stars. I cannot wait to continue on with the series. And the book I just finished last night, of course, was The Cat Who Could Read Backwards by Lilian Jackson Braun, which is the first book in the Cat Who series. This one was an automatic 5 star, and I knew it would be a 5 star going in because it is such a beloved book for me, such a beloved series for me. It's the first cozy mystery series I ever read before I even knew what a cozy mystery was. I was like 17 when I read my first book in the series. It wasn't the first book in the series. The first one that I read was The Cat Who Wasn't There. But I love the introduction. That these are a bit, and I've said this before, the first 3 books tend to be a bit more gritty than the later books in the series because they were written in the 60s, and then she took like a 20-year break from writing the series, and then she came back and they became a bit more cozy later on. But this is about, if you've never heard of this series before, this is about our main character named Jim Quillerin, who is a reporter for a larger town newspaper. And he's the new art critic, but he knows nothing about art. And he ends up, kind of involving himself in this art scene, and he meets these people, and then he meets this guy who's got this cat, and then the guy ends up getting killed, and at the end of the book, Quill pretty much takes the cat, and it's Coco. For those of you who are big fans of the series, you know Coco. I think Yum Yum appears in book 3. But throughout the rest of the series, it's him, this older gentleman, and these 2 Siamese cats who solve mysteries, and they're just charmingly delightful. People have commented that the earlier books tend to be a little more misogynistic, and I do understand that. They were written in the late 1960s. So for that, I kind of forgive it. They're not meant to be written. And I mean, it was so funny, like clearly they're not, because there's one scene that he talks about rent, and that this guy's going to rent him a fully furnished apartment for $50 a month. I'm like, you can't do that a day in the city of Toronto. So I just thought it was really charming, really delightful. I love it so much, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with the series. And it's been talked about by both myself and Elizabeth over at Lizzie Faye Loves Books that the last 3 or 4 books kind of really jumped the shark, if you will. They're not as good as the original series because they were being written by a ghostwriter, because Lilian Jackson Braun herself, I believe, had passed away or was very ill and couldn't write. So a lot of people skip those ones. I am going to reread through the entire thing, and yes, I do actually plan on reading those ones as well, just for continuity's sake, just because unless I really don't feel like if I'm going to DNF the whole thing, do you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway guys, so that was my reading week. Let me know how your week went. Have you read any of these books? What did you think about them? And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye guys.